Now come to the next one, that is the structure of nephron. As we know that, see here carefully, this is the structure of nephron which we already discussed it, that is the glomerulus, right? That is the Bowman's capsule, this is the PCT. So now actually this is the diagram which is given in the NCERT at page number 295, right? It is given in the page number 295. That one is the proximal convoluted tubule, that is PCT. That sixth one is the DCT, right? As I say that the reabsorption, maximum reabsorption occur in the PCT, right? So that P is, what is that P? That is NaCl. That P is NaCl, right? That is the S, okay. That Q is the nutrients. That Q is the nutrients, right? That S is the H ion. That T is the ammonia, NH3, right? Now what will happen? That 4 is the descending limb of LOH, right? That U is the water. That V is the urea. That P is the NaCl, right? That is the thin segment of ascending limb, right? That P stands for the NaCl. That 2 is thick segments of ascending limb of LOH, right? That R denotes the potassium ions. That S denotes the H ion. Again here in DCT, that P is NaCl, right? That 5 is the collecting duct, and that U is the water, right? So this is the structure present in the NCERT, right? See here, it is, this structure is given in NCERT page number 295, right? So what will happen now? This structure is talking about the functions of the tubules, right? This structure is talking about the functions of the tubules. As we know that in page number 295, the functions of tubules is given in NCERT, right? As we know that first one is the PCT, right? First one is the PCT in tubular structure, that is proximal convoluted tubule, that is proximal convoluted tubule. So what will happen here? We know that the PCT is lined with the simple cuboidal epithelium but with brush border. So we can see, we can write it as it is lined with the brush border cuboidal epithelium, right? Brush bordered cuboidal epithelium, clear? That PCT is lined with the brush bordered cuboidal epithelium. Now what will happen? 70 to 80%, when we talk about that, 70 to 80% of the electrolytes are reabsorbed. Here you can see the bicarbonates, the NaCl, when filtrate, when afferent arteriole takes blood toward the glomerulus, towards the Bowman's capsule, and by the filtration barriers, filtration membranes, right, filtrate is formed, and that is comes into the space of Bowman's space. Now what will happen? First, this is the first step of the urine formation, that is the glomerular filtration, right, which occurs here. Now what will happen? The second step, that is the tubular reabsorption. So maximum reabsorption occur in that PCT part, right, maximum reabsorption occur in that PCT part if there is loss of excessive amount of the bicarbonate ions or the nutrients or the water or the other nitrogenous waste products, right. So we have to maintain the osmolarity, because in cortex region we have to maintain the osmolarity of 3 milliosmol per liter, right. We have to maintain that osmolarity in the cortex region, and in medulla 1200 milliosmol per liter, right, clear. So to maintain that osmolarity, we have to do that. To maintain that osmolarity, or to maintain the internal environment constant, our body in our body the tubular reabsorption processes occur. So we can maintain that osmolarity in the cortex region, that is 300, right. So as bicarbonate ions, sodium chloride, water, nutrients, potassium ion is reabsorbed here, and if there is some imbalancing in that to maintain that osmolarity, then what will happen? That tubular secretion of H ion and ammonium ion through the interstitial fluid, right, it enters inside the filtrate. If it is maintained, then it will goes forward, right, and if it is in excess amount, then it will absorb here again, clear. So that's why in NCERT that specific line is given, that is PCT is lined with this simple cuboidal brush bordered epithelium. So we can write it here right now, right. So now what is next? Why there is brush border? Because they increase the absorptive surface area, right, and 70 to 80% electrolytes and all the essential nutrients are reabsorbed here, right, water by this segment, right, and that PCT is also helps to maintain the pH that is related with that H ion, right, and ionic balance, right, ionic balance of the body fluids, right. It maintains the pH and ionic balance of the body fluids. So now what will happen? How they maintain? By the selective secretion, right, by selective secretion of hydrogen ion and ammonia and potassium. You can see here that potassium, that hydrogen also, right, this is also the tubular part of the tubular secretion, na, right. Potassium ion into filtrate by the absorption of bicarbonate from it. You can see here that bicarbonate also absorb from it, right, here and here also. Clear? So simply, to maintain the osmolarity of the cortex, the fluid and the medulla, we have to do these processes. Now what will happen? Come to the next, that is the LOH, that is the loop of Henle, where the reabsorption is minimum, right? In loop of Henle, where the reabsorption is minimum, reabsorption is minimum, right? Reabsorption is minimum in this segment. Even it plays a significant role to maintain the high osmolarity of the medullary interstitial fluid. See here, right? As the filtrate goes down, it gets concentrated, so osmolarity change here 300, right? Then 400, then what will happen here? 600, then 800, then what will happen? 1000, here 1200, right? Now we have to maintain that osmolarity. Now again, to maintain that, what will happen? That NaCl, right, that is sodium chloride, it is permeable, that ascending limb is permeable for that. So to maintain the osmolarity, what will happen here? Again 1000, 800, 600, 400, right, 300, and here 200, then 100. Clear? So in that manner we have to maintain the osmolarity, right? So LOH, as you can see, that LOH, that is the descending limb of LOH, is permeable for water, right? It is permeable for water but not permeable for salt here. This is the question of pre-medical, right? Descending limb of LOH, right? It is permeable for water. And one more lining is there. In NCERT, one more line is there, but almost impermeable to electrolytes, mainly HCl. Mainly NaCl. Right? So why that word used here almost? We can write now that is impermeable to electrolytes. Listen carefully. In the counter current mechanism, when we'll study about the counter current mechanism, right? So when that NaCl enters in that interstitial spaces, right, that NaCl from ascending limb of LOH, that NaCl goes here is exchanged with the descending limb of vasa recta, right? So that's why sometimes little bit it is impermeable to electrolytes, but little bit through the interstitial fluid it goes towards the vasa recta, descending limb, right? That's why that word is used here. Now ascending limb, when we talk about that ascending limb of loop of Henle, ascending limb of LOH, then what will happen? Then that ascending limb is impermeable for water and permeable for electrolytes, right? So you can see here only that electrolyte is diffuse out, right? Here only that electrolyte is diffuse out, water is not here because water ascending limb is impermeable for water, right? So this is the function of tubule which is related with that question. And now when we talk about the DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, right? When we talk about the DCT, then what will happen, that distal convoluted tubule, one word is used here, that is conditional reabsorption is here, right? That is conditional reabsorption. Conditional reabsorption of what? Conditional reabsorption of what? NaCl and H2O, right? That is NaCl and H2O. So conditional reabsorption of sodium ion and water takes place in the that particular section, right? As we can see here, why it is necessary for conditional absorption, why it is called conditional absorption. If the to maintain the concentration of urine, if there is excessive loss of water, then to absorb water, right, in passive manner, right, we have to absorb the NaCl, right? And because water when NaCl is absorbed, then automatically water is absorbed, right, because water run behind the NaCl. Clear? So simply in that way, that DCT is also helps to reabsorption of that bicarbonate ion, right, for the secretion of the potassium ion and the H ion concentration. So it maintains the sodium potassium balance in the body, right? Clear? Sodium potassium balance in the body. So in that manner, that DCT helps in that, right? Now what will happen, see here, the question is, first question is related with the collecting duct. When we talk about the collecting duct, it extends from, you can see here, right, this is the part of the cortex where collecting duct, and it extends into the medulla, right? So collecting duct extends from cortex into medulla, right? It extends in from cortex and the inner part of the medulla. Large amount of water could be reabsorbed here, right? Large amount of water could be reabsorbed here to maintain the concentrated, to form the concentrated urine. Large amount of water is reabsorbed here, right? And little bit amount of the urea is also transported here into the interstitial space. Now that urea enters into the thin segment of the ascending limb of LOH and again recycled here, right? So simple. That's why we say that the little bit amount of urea is excreted out with the urine, right? It is essential to maintain that level, that is 20 to 30 gram urea is goes with the urine. Clear? So that's why in that reason large amount of water could be reabsorbed from this region to produce concentrated urine, to produce the concentrated urine. Clear? To produce the concentrated urine, this segment allows the passage for small amount of urea into medullary interstitium. Why? To maintain the osmolarity, to maintain the osmolarity, right? So we can say that the collecting duct, the collecting duct plays an important role to maintain the anionic balance and the osmolarity, to maintain the osmolarity of the fluid, right? Now come to that question. Through that question we will discuss about the functions of the tubules, little bit about the counter current mechanism, little bit about the water reabsorption, right? So now come here, what is asked in that question? Glucose, that is the nutrient, amino acid, that is also the nutrient, are not absorbed in here, not absorbed. Mark that word, not absorbed in, right? So not absorbed in what? See 6 and 4, what is 6? That is DCT, right? DCT, and fourth one is the descending limb of LOH. In 6, that is DCT, so here only electrolytes are reabsorbed. So 6 in the glucose and amino acid reabsorption is not here, right? So that 6th one is cancelled, and in 4th also, because it is permeable for water and impermeable for electrolytes, so here also reabsorption not occur, right? Reabsorption only occur in that place, not here, right? Conditional reabsorption occur here, and just conditional reabsorption of the sodium chloride and the water, right? 2 and 3, what is 2 and 3? Where is 2? That is 2, that is the thick segment, right? Thick segment of a LOH. In that particular portion, it is permeable for the electrolytes and impermeable for the water. So absorption, reabsorption is minimum, right? And the nutrients reabsorption occur only in PCT, so it is also wrong. And what is 3? That is thin ascending, wrong. 5 and 6, where is 5? That is collecting duct, no. And 6, that is no. So in all portions, the glucose and amino acids are not absorbed, so answer is the all of the above. So to solve the question like this, you have to the knowledge of full of that, right? Now come to that question, U and P are respectively, U and P. U is the water, reabsorption of water is occur in the descending limb of LOH, right? And what is P? P, that is NaCl. See here, right? That is NaCl, right? So answer is U and P respectively, that is water and NaCl. So answer is Bombay, right? Now come to the next question, that V is, which is actually dash, it is dash, it is 5 and 3, right? Which is actually, that V that we are talking about that V, and that V is the urea, right? That V is the urea. Now what will happen, see here in that diagram, the question is asked that V is, so what is that V? That V is the urea, na? Okay, so that V is the urea. Urea is in these options, so these options are wrong, right? They are cancelled. Now which is actually urea is actually the excretory waste product, and excretory waste is given in both options, right? Now what will happen, it is what, 5, right? So it is reabsorbed from the 5, na? That is the collecting duct. You can see here, it is, the arrow indicates here towards here, so it is reabsorbed by the 5 and excreted into that 3, that is the ascending limb of LOH, that is the exact line of NCERT, right? So the answer is D, that means C is also cancelled. Clear? So you have to correlate all the informations, and before correlate, that information is in your mind, right? Now what will happen, 4 is permeable to, right? In that question 4 is permeable to, that 4 is the descending limb of LOH, right? It is permeable for water and almost impermeable for salts, right? So it is permeable to water, which proves that it is dash what, which proves that it is the PCT DCT, that means it is asking about the location, right? So location is the descending limb of LOH, so descending limb of LOH is given in B and C, so A and D is wrong, right? Now what will happen, the while 2 is impermeable, that 2, that is ascending limb of LOH, it is impermeable to water, right? Impermeable to water and permeable for the electrolytes, right? So simple in that question here, descending limb of LOH, while 2, that is ascending limb of LOH, is impermeable to water, and which proves that it is ascending limb of LOH. So the option is right. So the option is only Bombay. No, wait. 4 is impermeable. Sorry, the 4 is impermeable to, that is permeable for water and impermeable for NaCl, right? That descending limb of LOH is impermeable. See here, I just skipped that word because in my mind that is permeable, right? So you have to read the question properly. That is 4 is impermeable, that is impermeable to sodium chloride, right? Which proves that that is the DLH, that is the descending limb of LOH, and while 2, that is ascending limb of LOH, is permeable for salt and impermeable for water, so it is impermeable for water, which proves that that is LOH. So what is the answer of that now? The 4 is impermeable to NaCl, so answer is the C, right? DLH, then water and LOH. Clear?